Marjorie Taylor Greene, our favorite congresswoman here at the Luke Beasley Show Corporation, she said something, or she got asked something, I should say, based on claims she makes all the time, that the reason Joe Biden's horrible is because of the open border. And as we talked about, we don't have an open border. But aside from that, one of the things they've been pointing out a lot recently is the issue we have in this country with fentanyl, and saying that the increase of immigration into the United States, specifically across our southern border, is why we're having a problem with fentanyl. But this journalist, during a press conference, asked a really good question on that topic, as you'll see here.
Quick question. A lot of you mentioned the fentanyl crisis that is happening, but most fentanyl comes from people crossing the border who are United States citizens, not necessarily immigrants. What is your response to that? That is interesting.
I would ask for where's your proof on that, because that's not what we've been shown. That's not what, when we go to the border and we're speaking with Border Patrol agents, when we're there on the ground, that is not at all what we're being told. So I'm going to push back on your I'm sorry, I don't see. I don't. The Cato Institute is not the Border Patrol. There's a big difference there. I'm sorry, is the Cato down there securing our border and stopping illegal aliens and human trafficking and drug trafficking? I'm sorry, you're going to have to get a direct source. And when you bring the Border Patrol in here and want to quote that, then we may take you seriously. But we're not taking the Cato Institute seriously. Yes, ma'am.
So you're bringing.
Yes. So in short, here's what is the truth. The way that fentanyl comes into our country is through legal ports of entry, and primarily U.S. citizens, because the way that, and we'll, in the description box of this YouTube video, I'll throw a bunch of sources if you want to go read into the details of all the specific numbers on this. But the way you would have to get drugs across the border in the most efficient way possible is to come up with ways to stow it in a car, right? This is what cartels will organize, and then a U.S. citizen comes through acting like they're doing whatever. They drive through a legal port of entry, and broadly, that is every single, investigation or batch of research that's been done into this. That's how fentanyl comes across into the United States and then does the damage that we know that it does. And that is a problem, and that should be worked on, because we don't want people feeling the effects of that type of drug overdoses and all the lacing and all that type of stuff. But Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't care about that issue. She cares about demonizing immigrants, because if you actually wanted to talk about solving the problem of fentanyl coming across our southern border, it wouldn't really be a conversation about immigrants at all, because again, it's legal U.S. citizens coming through legal ports of entry across the southern border that actually make this happen, that actually bring this fentanyl into our country. But she's ignoring that fact. The journalist highlighted there. Again, you can dive into the specifics below if you'd like in the description for our YouTube viewers. But it is so aggravating on so many of these issues. They do not want to actually talk about the facts, because that would not align with the demonization, with the throwing of red meat to their base that they want to do. Here's an example of just how far she has gone. You heard her in that video deny the fact and also call them, as she does, illegal aliens, which is quite the phrase for a human being. But also she's saying, yeah, Russia's invading Ukraine, but immigrants are invading the United States. That's the comparison she makes right here.
Proxy war with Russia. We had 5 million people cross our border illegally since Joe Biden took office. And let's compare that to how many Russians have invaded Ukraine. 82,000 Russians have invaded Ukraine. I think the American people and the taxpayers of this country deserve to know why the Biden administration and this Congress is so interested in funding the protection of Ukraine's border and not the protection of our border. That's a very good question.
Vile human being. She's comparing an authoritarian country trying to take over or cause mass devastation in another country that's sovereign, that has not done anything to provoke that type of action, and the mass killing of civilians and soldiers, to immigrants trying to get into a country to seek a better life. And because of our messed up legal system, too many of them do go the illegal route, or the, you know, outside of our legal process, which I dislike, because I wish we had a better, more efficient legal system that would allow these people to do this the proper way. And that is what she's comparing to what's going on in Russia, is something that's happened. Now, it is at a larger rate right now, but throughout US history, forever. Immigration has been a thing forever. It's just something that happens in countries. Immigration happens. Now, we can debate how much should we have, what should our process be, but to pretend like immigration is at all comparable to the attempted conquering of another country by an authoritarian power is absolutely disgusting and vile. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before any of the clips are uploaded to YouTube, plus get access to an extra full show every Saturday that only members can see, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Luke Beasley. That's patreon.com/Luke Beasley, and there is a link in the description.